Hello, my dear students. Good morning. I hope you are well and safe. It's a great time to have you on our course, English Grammar 2. Today we have Unit 61. This unit deals with be used to, get used to, and they are followed by a gerund or a noun. So let's begin. We have here these examples. Lisa is American, but she lives in Britain. When she first drove her car in Britain, she found it very difficult because she had to drive on the left, not on the right. And driving on the left was strange and difficult for her because she wasn't used to it. She wasn't used to it. She was accustomed. It was strange for her. It was new. She wasn't used to driving on the left. But after a lot of practice, driving on the left became less strange. So afterwards, Lisa got used to driving on the left. Now, it's no problem for her. It's no problem for Lisa. She is used to driving on the left. Let's have more examples. I'm used to something. You can use I'm used to plus followed by noun. I'm used to something. It's not new or strange for me. Frank, for example, lives alone. He lives alone. He doesn't mind this. He doesn't mind living alone because he has lived alone for 15 years. So it isn't strange for him. He is used to it. He is used to living alone. I bought some new shoes. They felt a bit strange at first because I wasn't used to them. They were new and strange. Our new flat is on a very busy road or street. I expect we'll get used to it, to the noise. But at the moment, it isn't very comfortable. It is very disturbing indeed. Diane has a new job. She has to get up much earlier now than before. She has to get up at 6:30. She finds it difficult because she isn't used to getting up so early. Barbara, her husband, is often away from her. He is often away from her. He is often away from home. She doesn't mind this. She is used to him. She is used to him to being alone or to being away. After be used to, we have be, is, are, was, were, be, being, used to. We have get, gets, got, has got, and so on, used to. You can't use the infinitive. It is wrong to use the infinitive. You can't say, I get used to do something or to drive and so on. She is used to driving on the left, not she is used to drive. So be used to, get used to are followed by the gerund, by ing, or by a noun or a pronoun. You cannot use infinitive after these structures. When we say, I'm used to something, To is here a preposition, not a part of the infinitive. So we say Frank is used to living alone. Not Frank is used to live alone. Lisa had to get used to driving on the left. Not get used to drive. Do not confuse. I'm used to doing something and I used to do. I used to do is a past habit. It is no longer available. We do not do it anymore. But I am used to doing means it is a present habit. I do it, I'm accustomed to it, and it is not strange or difficult or new for me. I am used to doing something. It isn't strange or new for me. I'm used to the weather. We have cold weather or bad weather. Everyone is accustomed to the kind of weather he or she has in his own country. I am used to driving on the left because I have lived in Britain a long time. We have I used to do something. I did it regularly in the past, but no longer do it now. You can use this only for the past, not for the present. The structure is I used to do, I used to do, not I am used to do. I used to drive to work every day, but these days I usually go by bike. We used to live in a small village, but now we have moved to live in the city. Now we live in London, but in the past we used to live in a small village far away from London. Now, I hope that you have understood these rules. Try to read the rules at least twice and read the examples. Try to study the examples very carefully, very slowly at first until you understand them. Then, after understanding the rules and the examples, you can move to do the exercises. We have exercise number 1. Look again at the situation in section A. On the opposite page, Lisa is American. Of course, that paragraph. The following situations are similar. Complete the sentences using used to. Juan is Spanish. He came from Spain. He went to live in England. In Spain, he usually had dinner late in the evening. But in England, dinner was at 6. This was, of course, very early for him. And he found it very difficult, of course, very difficult, very strange at first. When Juan first went to London or to England, he, of course, had to, eat his dinner early, and he found it difficult. It was strange. He wasn't used to it. But after some time, he got used. He found it normal. He is used to it. He doesn't find it difficult. Julia is a nurse. A year ago, she started working nights. At first, she found it hard and didn't, of course, like it. Of course, she had to work at night, and she, of course, wasn't accustomed, wasn't used to working at night, And then later on, she got used to it. Now, after a year or so, she is quite happy. She got used to working night shifts. What do you say in these situations? Use I'm not used to. You live alone. You don't mind this. You have always lived alone. Do you get a bit lonely sometimes? No, I'm used to living alone. You sleep on the floor. You don't mind this. You have always slept on the floor. So you won't or wouldn't you prefer to sleep in a bed? No, I'm used to sleeping on the floor. We have another example. You have to work long hours in your job. This is not a problem for you. You have always worked long hours. You have to work very long hours in your job, don't you? Yes, but I don't mind that. I'm used to working long hours. You usually go to bed early. Last night you were or you went to bed very late for you, and as a result, you are very tired this morning. Yes, you look tired this morning. Yes, I'm not used to going to bed very late. We move to exercise number 3. Read the situations and complete the sentences using used to. Right. Number 1 here. Some friends of yours have just moved into a flat on a busy street. It is very noisy. They will have to get used to the noise. The children at school had a new teacher. She was different from the teacher before, but this wasn't a problem for the children. They soon got used to the new teacher. Sue moved from a big house to a much smaller. She found it strange at first. She had to, of course, to get used to live in a much smaller house. Some people you know from Britain are going to live in your country. What will they have to? They have to get used to or accustomed to. They will have to get used to the warm weather or the hot weather sometimes. Right. So we have been dealing with used to and of course use are or get used to doing. Now we have the final exercise. It's exercise number 4. Complete the sentences using only one word each time. See section C. Lisa had to get used to driving on the left. This is an example. It is done for you. Number 2, we have she used to live in a small village, but now, of course, we live in London. So we used to live in a small village. That's a past habit. Yeah, these are 2 examples. Now we turn to sentence number 3. Dan used to drink a lot of coffee. Now he prefers tea. Number 4. I feel very full after that meal. I'm not used to eating so much. Number 5. I wouldn't like to share an office. I'm used to I'm used to having my own office. Number 6. I used to drive a car, but I sold it a few months ago. Yeah. So I used to drive. I used to have. Number 7. When we were children, we used to uh, go swimming very often, but now we no longer swim. Number 8. There used to be a cinema here, but it was knocked down a few years ago. Yes. Number 9. I'm the boss here. I'm not used to I'm not used to being told what to do. So we have here we have come to the end of Unit 61. It deals with two forms. You used to do something and get or be used to doing something. So used to alone, we have infinitive. But I'm getting or I get, I am used to doing, to having, to living, and so on. We must have a gerund. Now, we have come to the end of this lecture. If you have any questions, please let me know. Tell me. I'll be very happy to help you. And we have two notes here before we end this lecture. We have to advise you to work very hard, to make the best use of your time, and never delay, never waste your time. And we have to advise you on homework. Try to study your lessons very carefully and in time. Try to write and answer the homework, present it in time, send it in a good file that can be opened. Write your full name, your first name and last name on the top of each page so that the teacher can assess it very quickly. And try to write clearly, leave spaces, write in big letters, and try to photo it. Or when you photo the file, the background must be clear, clean, and it must be readable. Now, I have to thank you very much for joining me on this course, and goodbye. See you next lecture.